In the heart of Western Africa, where the golden sun bathed the Sahel in its fiery glow, there once stood the almighty kingdom of Wagadu. It was a land of vast deserts, lush river banks, and hidden riches beneath the earth. The rulers of Wagadu, known as the Wagadu Kings, were said to be blessed by the gods. Their wealth unmatched, their power unquestioned. But their wealth did not come from mere trade and conquest. It came from the sacred wells of gold, hidden deep within the kingdom. These wells, known as the Diara, were not ordinary sources of water. They were believed to be gifts from the spirit of the earth, filled with gold dust that shimmered with stars in the night sky. According to legend, the first king of Wagadu, Dingasise, was a man of mystical origin. Some says he descended from the sky, sent by the gods to lead the Soninke people. Others claimed he was a wandering warrior guided by the whispers of the spirit. What is known is that under his rule, Wagadu flourished. Dingasese made a sacred pact with the spirit of the land, Bida, a great and fearsome golden serpent that dwelt in the depths of the earth. Bida's presence ensured that gold would flow endlessly from the well of Wagadu, making the kingdom the wealthiest in the world. But there was a price to be paid. Every 7 years, a virgin maiden was offered to Bida in exchange for the kingdom's prosperity. And so, generations after generations, the kings of Wagadu honored the pact, and their wealth grew beyond imagination. Merchants from the farthest corners of the world, Arab traders, Berbers nomads, and even distant Chinese and Indian traders came to Wagadu to exchange salt, silk, and spices for its legendary gold. But as with all great kingdoms, great and defiance would bring Wagadu to the brink of ruin. One fateful year, a brave warrior named Mamara Sefe Dekote fell in love with a maiden chosen as Bida's sacrifice. Defying the kingdom and the elders, he vowed to end the curse once and for all. With his almighty sword, he rode to the sacred well, where Bida waited his tribute. As the serpent emerged, its golden scale gleaming under the sun, Mamara struck a fatal blow, severing its head. The people of Wagadu rejoiced. No longer would they have to sacrifice their daughters. No longer would they live under the shadows of a serpent. But their victory was short-lived. As Bida lay dying, its blood soaked into the earth, and with its final breath, it cursed Wagadu. The wells of gold dried up, the rivers receded, and the golden city of Wagadu crumbled into dust. The once almighty kingdom disappeared beneath the sand of time, leaving only stories behind. The legacy of Wagadu, though the physical kingdom vanished, the legend of the Wagadu Kings lived on. The Soninke people, descendants of the Wagadu rulers, carried their traditions across West Africans, spreading tales of a time when gold flowered like water and king ruled with divine might. Some say that Wagadu still exists, hidden beneath the shifting sands, waiting for the day when a new king will rise. A king who will restore the wells of gold and bring back the lost glory of the Wagadu Kings. Until then, the tale of Wagadu remains one of mystery, wealth, and the power of faith. The Ghana Empire also known as Wagadu, was one of the Africa's most powerful and legendary empires. It flourished between 4th and 13th century, dominating West Africa with its immense wealth, sophisticated governance, and control of gold and salt trade. The empire was ruled by Wagadu Kings, known for their divine authority, military strength, and intricate royal tradition. However, despite its grandeur, the empire eventually fell due to internal struggles, external invasion, and climate change. The Ghana Empire was founded by Soninke people, a subgroup of larger Mande ethnic group. Oral tradition traces its origin to a semi-mythical ancestor called Dingasise, a powerful warrior and the first ruler of Wagadu. The Soninke established a strong kingdom in present-day southeastern Mauritania, Mali, and western Senegal. Strategic location and trade of the Ghanaian people. The empire was strategically located between the Sahara Desert and the resource-rich forests of West Africa. This position allowed the Ghana Empire to control and tax trade routes that link North Africa to West Africa. The most lucrative trade items were gold, Bure and Galam regions, salt, ivory, kola nuts, and slaves. By the 8th century, the empire had become immensely wealthy, and Arab traders referred to Ghana as the land of gold. The rulers controlled the gold trade, ensuring that gold nuggets were kept exclusively for the king, while only gold dust was allowed in circulation. The Ghana Empire was built on a rich cultural foundation that blended spiritual belief, oral tradition, music, dance, and royal ceremonies. Before the arrival of Islam, the Soninke people practiced African traditional religion centered on ancestral worship, which is the spirit of ancestors were honored through rituals. Animism, nature, rivers, and sacred objects were believed to have spirits. The divine king, Ghanaian king, was considered semi-divine, acting as an intermediary between the gods and the people. With time, Islam spread into the empire due to contact with Berber and Arab traders, leading to a mix of traditional belief and Islamic practices. Ghanaian food was based on millet, sorghum, and rice, complemented by fish, goat, beef, and local vegetables. Common meals include fonio and millet porridge, staple grains rich in nutrients, grilled meat and fish, often seasoned with traditional spices, baobab and tamarind juices, nutritional and common in royal courts, honey and shea butter, which is used in cooking traditional medicine. Griots. These musicians and poets preserve histories through epic songs and praise poetry. Drumming and dancing played a role in royal ceremonies and warrior gathering. Masque and festival. Intricate masks were used in traditional ceremonies and spiritual dances. The Ghanaian Empire was ruled by a powerful monarchy, where the king, known as Ghana, was the ultimate authority. The royal court had a vast of army acres, spearmen, and cavalry. A council of elders and chiefs were advised the king, a complex taxation system that controlled trade. The Ghanaian king's authority was considered semi-divine and untouchable by commoners. His clothing were covered in gold and precious stones. He controlled the gold mines and regulated trade to maintain wealth. The king's palace was a grand complex with stone and clay structures. He had several wives and concubines, often forming political alliances. He performed ritual sacrifices to the spirits of the ancestors to ensure prosperity. The role of women in royalty, the queens and princes, had significant influence in court. Women merchants played key roles in trade. Some queens were spiritual leaders who advised the king. While the empire was advanced, some practices were harsh and feared. Some of those practices include human sacrifices. During royal burials, servants and warriors were sacrificed to serve the king in the afterlife. Prisoners of wars and criminals were also offered to spirits for protection. Execution of traitors. Those who betrayed the king faced execution by beheading or exile. Spies and traitors were thrown into deep pits or burned alive. Miners who discovered large gold nuggets were often silenced or executed to prevent knowledge of the mines through wealth. Despite its immense power, the Ghana Empire declined due to multiple factors, which include Almoravid invasion. In 1076 AD, the Almoravids, a group of Muslim Berber warriors, attacked Ghana. They weakened the empire's military strength, disrupted trade routes, cutting off wealth, spread Islam, reducing the king's religious authority. Local chiefs and nobles rebelled against the central government. Successions disputes weakened the monarchy. Provinces broke away, forming new kingdoms like Mali. Climate change and desertification. The Sahara Desert expanded, making agriculture harder. Prolonged drought led to food shortage and agricultural collapse.